What's up, y'all? We're back for another Chakra Logic video. It's your divine God here, hoping to light the way. Today we're talking about the third eye chakra, and we're about to get into it. Real quick, I just wanted to tell everyone thank you so much for supporting my channel. Despite me being under a copyright strike for the last week, I streamed on YouTube, and I think I watched like some of the Olympic breakdancing clips on YouTube, and I got brought down quick. But honestly, regardless, shout out to everybody who's been subscribing. I got over 100 subscribers within this time that I haven't been able to post anything. Y'all really boosted up that root chakra video to over 1,000 within this whole week. Oops, didn't even look down. But honestly, thank y'all so much for supporting and continuing to grow the channel, because I thought that was really going to be detrimental to like the momentum, but it was actually okay. So today we're going to talk about the third eye chakra. We're going to get into the functions, imbalances, and ways to balance it out / activate your third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is really cool, in my opinion. It's kind of what brings the mysticism to the world, the mystery to the world. It allows you to tap into it and connect with it more. The third eye chakra being indigo. That's where I got my indigo on today, a little dark indigo at that. But I do feel like indigo is kind of like the night sky. You know, it's kind of representative of the early night, you know, the nighttime, getting into that whole dream world kind of space aspect of the world. When you look at the sky during the day, it's always, you know, different clouds. It's never the same clouds. It's always moving. It's constantly things going on, changing and so forth. But at night, especially on a clear night, it's always the same thing. You always get the same stars, always in the same place. You know, it's like two opposites. You get one that's always ever changing and moving, and then you get one that just stays. It's always the same, you know, in a lot of ways. And to me, that's kind of where that third eye realm goes into, that dream state, you know, that North Star in a lot of ways. So your third eye has to do with intuition, you know, your ability to perceive things that aren't necessarily there. Your ability to go into the dream state, you know, also like having dreams as far as like in your life, you know, your life dreams, or whatever you want to call it, your fate or your destiny. What else is there? Has to do with just like the interconnectivity, reading between the lines of things, and, you know, kind of understanding the synchronicities, being able to see the synchronicities, seeing the signs that are in front of you. So with the dreams, the two types of dreams, I'll first talk about how people have dreams, right? People in their life, you know, people have a dream job, or, you know, a dream like, you know, situation that they'd be a part of or whatever. So, you know, from a young age, and some people will get them later on, but that whole aspect of that side of us comes from that third eye chakra, being able to see the interconnectivity of things and being able to see the vision, you know, the inner vision of where you want to be, how you want to be, who you want to be, you know. And being able to kind of, you know, attract yourself to it, or get closer to that space, or attract that to you. So your third eye is definitely something that's integral to a lot of people. It's a driving factor for a lot of people to do what they, you know, to do certain things in life, you know. You know, eating is one thing, pooping is one thing, you know, cuddling up with people is one thing, and so forth, and playing games with people is one thing. But, you know, a lot of us have an overarching dream that we are achieving, or wanting to achieve, or trying to get towards. And some people are already there, you know, operating in that dream space. You know, for some people, life is more like a dream, because they're in a space where they've kind of just given up a lot of their control to the, you know, to the divine, and allowing the divine to kind of just give them wild interactions beyond what they could imagine themselves. But yeah, the dream state, the dream world is very important. And as far as the dream state and dream world goes on the third eye, as far as like when you go to bed and you wake up, or you go to bed and you have a dream, those dreams that you're experiencing aren't with your two eyes. Although your two eyes are pretty freaking incredible, the way that they can see miles and miles away, and then also like super close, and the fact that they can adjust their focus like just so quickly, you know, your eyes can dart around and see so much, such a broad range of colors and everything compared to what you can see on a screen, you know, compared to what a camera can pick up. You know, even though there's some pretty powerful cameras out there, your eyes are pretty dang cool. I ain't gonna lie. So your third eye is actually pretty amazing too. You know, it's what allows you to see what's not there physically, you know? So when you're in the dream state, what you're seeing is not something, obviously, you know, it's not physical, but you're using your third eye to experience that, to see that. Your third eye allows you to see into that realm, right? Perceive those things. So, you know, the clearer your third eye is, the more stronger that it's able to operate, the energy or frequency is able to operate, and the more you'll be able to have more, I guess, control or balance within your dreams, you know, being able to have more pleasant dreams, being able to explore more, being able to be more lucid in your dreams, and kind of, you know, have a more visceral dream experience. You know, and that also has to do with, you know, the nighttime, the color, this whole space of things, the things that are like dark, but, you know, or darker, I guess. So yeah, your dreams, you know, I'll get into the imbalances later or whatever, but yeah, your dreams, functions of your third eye, being able to access your dreams. You know, that's where your melatonin is. A lot of times when people are, you know, sleepy, and especially if they're kind of sleep deprived or they've been pulling all-nighter or whatever, you know, they'll start to kind of drift off, you know, they'll start to kind of get a little loopy, and before they know it, like, they'll have a thought and the thought will kind of take them into a daydream, or they'll be kind of visualizing something, right? That's definitely your third eye. You know, it's that circadian rhythm. It's that, you know, the melatonin. If you take melatonin at night, when you start to feel it sit in, and you start to kind of feel your mind kind of like drift off into your little sleepy world or whatever, your dream world, that's like your third eye kind of interacting with you, right? That's your third eye there. That's kind of like, all right, we're going here now. We're kind of like, you know, drifting off a little bit. So the other aspects of it, your intuition, right? Being able to pick up on vibes, being able to catching on vibes. If your intuition is really sharp, you can catch on vibes really quick. You know, sometimes people don't have to say nothing. You can just kind of pick up on them when they walk in the room. You know, you can pick up on vibes super quick. You can tell when things are about to shift. You know, you can feel the momentum shift. You can kind of feel where the conversation is going, or when the conversation is about to change, or like, you know, people's, you know, motives, you know, ulterior motives or true intentions, a lot more on those things, because you're kind of able to be outside of be a little above the other three chakras, right? When people are just operating on the ego, or they're trying to use the ego to cover up their intentions, or you know, in every way, in many ways, not just, you know, not just in a negative way where they're trying to get over on you or manipulate you, but also, you know, some people are trying to hide certain things, whether it's like traumas or insecurities or whatever. And your intuition can really pick up on those things really quickly, because you can kind of see the whole picture, not just what they're presenting to you, but also the things that's also being like withheld a little bit. So also being able to read between the lines, right? That has to do with your perception and your intuition, you know? Like if you're watching a game or a sport, right? And it's something that you're well versed on the sport and how it's played. Obviously, if you know the rules, you can tell when the momentum is about to change, right? Even if a team is losing, you can tell from like a certain play, you can tell when the momentum's about to like change, about to move. You're like, oh yeah, oh, they're about to go on a run. Oh, you can kind of catch on to things pretty quickly. Or if two people are fighting in MMA, you can tell when the shift's happening in momentum, right? And those things aren't just like lofty, like, oh, okay, like, yeah, did you catch that? No, okay, I caught this little version over here. You caught that version over there. No, there's a lot of times when people know when that moment is as a collective, right? Like, oh, that's the dagger. That's what they call like the dagger in some basketball games, when they know like, okay, that's that shot right there, that play. It's kind of like the end of the game. Even though the game hasn't ended yet, that moment right there just signified that this game is over. And so a lot of people can pick up on those things. That's having that, being able to read between the lines, right? Having that perception that goes just beyond that one little interaction of that moment, right? You can just tell how when two people interact with one another, how that dynamic kind of plays out a little bit more, you know? Those kind of moments are significant. And even if it's not just a whole momentum shift in a game, a lot of times those moments happen in smaller ways too, right? there's many times throughout the game, if you have two players, you can kind of see it gets a little chippy. You can kind of feel a little more of that underlying, story or underlying kind of happening that's going on. So that's another side of your third eye, right? Being able to connect the dots, that's a very big part of your third eye, right? Like the little things you do as a kid where you connect the dots. Obviously, I don't need to explain that, but that whole thing is like a third eye exercise, seeing the dots and then connecting to them. Obviously, you're using your third eye more so when you're not making the pencil, when you're just like using your mind to connect the dots. You can kind of like ahead of time, like, what is this? What are they trying to, what's the puzzle? You can kind of, some of us can see it ahead of time. And so that's using your third eye. It's being able to connect those dots. Those dots are like the divine masculine, right? And the space in between is the divine feminine. So your third eye is being able to see that divine feminine thread that's connecting everything, right? And being able to see both sides of it. And that's where you get the third eye from. It's because you're not just seeing one side of it, you're seeing both sides of it, You're seeing the left and the right. So now you got the whole picture. So a lot of times your third eye also has to do with, like I said, like your dreams and so forth, and your ability to kind of see more than what's right there in front of you. Obviously, that's what I said before. So let's get into the imbalances of your third eye chakra. So just as I mentioned, with that whole side of being able to see things that aren't there, some imbalanced third eye chakras can have that overactive imagination, can have that, in a negative way, they can, their perception can mislead them sometimes. Some people may be quick to jump to conclusions or, assumptions of things that aren't necessarily there or don't logically, even though they don't logically make sense, it's not a balanced perception of things. It's more so with the ego involved and trying to get a certain result out of something as opposed to just looking at what's there. So, that plays out in a lot of ways. Some people may be quick to assume something negative is going to happen. Some people may be quick to assume something positive is going to happen, or see a negative connection or a positive connection about things that aren't really there. Like some people might already think that, they might be head over heels and think that there's already some love connection there, or there's something there with some person or a future, when it's not really there. It's just them kind of putting their ego in the mix and trying to make it into something that's not really that. And on the opposite side of things too, right? Some people may perceive other people's intentions in a negative way, or think about them in a negative way, or think that they're up to something when they may not be. It may just be a kind, just a genuine, selfless act, and some people might be like, I don't know, I feel like they're up to something, and sometimes that's true, but sometimes people's compass can be off, and it's really just them, having a negative outlook on things as opposed to there actually being something negative happening. Same thing with like your dream state. People can have dreams that they're afraid of. People can, when you're dreaming, it's you. It's like you're manifesting in real time, as opposed to here, where there's a little bit of a lag time because we're all manifesting, right? So there's a little bit of like a co-creation, like a give and take when you're manifesting here, because it's just time. It's like reality, right? Things it's dense. But when you're in your dream world, it's kind of like it's kind of like in the Danger Room in X-Men, where they're like practicing how to, practicing their abilities and everything in a safe environment. Man, this is so beautiful. I gotta just take a moment to enjoy this. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. So awesome. Look at him go. Sorry, this is just cool. So, okay, where was I at? Danger Room, right? So, when you're in your third eye, wow, that's so cool. They're just enjoying all the wind currents and everything. I love it. When you're in your third eye, the danger room, your dream state, right? You kind of have to learn how to master it a little bit. Now, if at least not master it, find that balance between you in your emotions, in your thoughts, you know, and how you are reflecting things about yourself. Because you will, if you have bad dreams and stuff, a lot of people will put those bad dreams on other people. You know, if you have a bad dream about somebody, obviously the first thing you think about is like, man, would they do that to me, and so forth, you know. And sometimes, yeah, those dreams your intuition might be on to things, but sometimes when it's out of balance, you'll have bad dreams and you'll think it's about other things, but it's really just you. You know, you're like tormenting yourself because you have such a powerful imagination that sometimes the most exciting thing for you to experience is something scary. And in a deep part of you somewhere, subconsciously kind of knows that you're kind of looking for an adventure that you're not getting in life. You're looking for something to kind of bring out certain emotions that you don't really experience or feel much, you know. And, you know, for some people, it's kind of like a little fun game, you know, because you know you can't die in a dream. So it's like, all right, let me put myself in a stressful situation or a dangerous situation and see how I do. And sometimes those situations don't really pan out too well, you know, because it's an imbalanced state. It's definitely something where you're more like afraid and you're operating off of fear rather than operating and creating from a space that is balanced, or that is open to whatever's happening, you know. So understanding and being able to get a little bit of a control over your dream state is a really powerful way to help to bring balance to your third eye chakra. I'm gonna touch back into that though, but let's keep moving on the imbalances. So other imbalances with your third eye is, you know, not having that connection to your intuition, not being able to pick up on people's ulterior motives, you know, being able to see the connection in events, piecing things together, not feeling in tune with that synchronicity, not being able to pick up on signs that the universe is sending you, you know, feeling a little detached from the magic. You know, your third eye is where a lot of the psychedelic stuff happens, right? Whenever people do take psychedelics, their third eye is what's being activated. It's what's allowing you to see all the waves and all those things that other people aren't able to see. And, you know, a lot of times when people are on psychedelics, they're like, yeah, I know it's not there because it's something I'm visualizing, but at the same time, there's definitely something at play here that I wasn't aware of until I got into this frequency, you know? And for some people, they can kind of understand those things that are still around and still happening, even though they may not be able to perceive it as much as they are able to when they are, you know, on psychedelics. Because your third eye does produce DMT and melatonin, you know? It is that whole space for you to kind of experience things that aren't there, you know, into that dream world. As you know, the things that you see that aren't there, that's just your third eye, right? Being able to perceive that whole space. So it's a beautiful thing that we have, right? It kind of makes the world more mysterious and more magical and gives you the ability to have those moments that go beyond just your typical three-dimensional experience. Let's see, other imbalances, right? Misconceptions, you know, having a lot of misconceptions about things. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, if you're judging too much, you might be, you know, out of your third eye space, because your third eye is a little bit less about judging and more about just receiving and understanding sometimes, you know. It's not really our job to judge too much. It's our job to have discernment. I think that's another thing your third eye is really good at. But not so much judging, you know what I'm saying? Like, discernment just allows you to know, hey, this is for me, this isn't for me. You know, this is something that's gonna help me or hurt me. Really just down to those facts, right? Just down to that. And judging is more about, not really about understanding what you need and what you don't need, but more so looking at things as like right or wrong and condemning things, you know? Having that aspect of like, ooh, that's bad. Or like, ooh, that's evil. And yeah, there are things that are bad. There are things that are evil. It's good to have that discernment. But sometimes judging can kind of cloud the balance, you know, right? Sometimes having that connection to things being right and wrong can kind of throw off your actual like true balance, because things do work, you know? It's like, if you see an animal eat another animal in the wild and hunt another animal, you're like, oh, that's so bad. That's so wrong. Like, why would they even do that? Like, why would they even do that? Like, that's so bad. And you might look at it as like, oh, that bird is evil, or that, you know, that animal is evil, when it's really just the balance of everything and being able to see the whole picture sometimes. Yeah, nature is cruel, and there are times where, you know, things happen where it's unfair, you know, but not necessarily is everything wrong because we see it as wrong, you know. So kind of getting out of that space will help you to open up your third eye a little bit more and being able to look at the whole picture sometimes. So this water bottle. All right, let's get into the balances and ways to activate it. I don't want this video to go too long, but it's a good video so far. So I'll start off with this last imbalance, and it'll kind of lead into the way that we're balancing in this and activating it. So last imbalance is calcified third eyes, right? The human world does not want to keep you in your third eye. It wants to keep you in your lower three chakras, right? So there's a lot of materials, or there's a lot of metals like fluoride. There's a lot of calcium in the water. There's a lot of stuff in your food that is kind of designed to close up your third eye, so you're not operating in this space so much. You're not able to see the in-between or being able to see the evil in the world, right? That's why people don't want you to smoke bud, because they don't want you to get a higher understanding of like what's actually going on and seeing like, oh, okay, like, yeah, you know what, this doesn't make sense, you know, like, if you think about it, you know, they don't want people to really think about stuff. So, especially if they can't tax it. Anyways, so ways to balance it and activate it. Decalcifying your third eye is one of the first things that you can do objectively that'll help you to strengthen your third eye and honestly give it heal it, I guess I should say. Being able to heal your third eye. And there's things I will write down in the description, more of the things that I can't think of right now, but I know there's like magnesium, melatonin, let's see, there's a bunch of other things that can help to take out some of these metals of your third eye and help to cleanse your third eye. Fasting is good. Let's see. I'm gonna put it in the description. I'll have a whole list of things in the description, so give me a little time. If y'all come back to the video, y'all see more stuff, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'll just start listing things. But let me move on to the next thing. But I'll list a few things that you can get to help decalcify your third eye. So other things that you can do to help balance it. Meditation is huge. Meditation's big because it allows you to go into a space where you're not, using your eyes, especially if you meditate with your eyes closed. That's what I would recommend, for sure. Meditating with your eyes closed, especially if you're trying to activate your third eye. I know people say not to gaze into the sun, but depending on the time of day, this is a really bright sun and there's no clouds. So this isn't, in my opinion, looking at the sun. Yeah, you can look at the sun at this point, but it's kind of intense. So sometimes it might be better to look at the sun like around sunset, around sunrise, when it's not so intense. But it'll help you to kind of activate your third eye senses whenever you close your eyes. Sometimes when you close your eyes, you can still see that light. Kind of being able to trace those light traces will help you to understand how your third eye works a little bit more. It's paying attention to the colors you see, even if it's just like a little swoosh of a color, even if it's just a little flash of purple or blue or green, those things. If you're able to kind of consciously take a moment to be like, yeah, I did see a color just now, and it wasn't with my two eyes, it was with my third eye, it was with my inner eye. Being able to understand those things can kind of be small little steps to kind of get you to be more in tune with your third eye and understanding that there's more to see than what meets the eye in a lot of ways. And that some people are able to have visualizations when they meditate. Some people are actually able to go places. Some people are actually able to open up a whole realm just from a scent that they may have. Just from an experience or a kind of situation that they're in. Some people's third eye is so strong that they can literally go into a mix of what you would call like a dream and being present. Some people can actually meditate and be in a space. There's a time before where I smelled this amazing scent. It was like this flower or whatever, and I was in a very heightened state of awareness. And I closed my eyes, and I promise you, I could just see. I was standing on a bridge. I could make it in 3D because That would be cool. But it was such a visceral experience. So I was standing on this long wooden bridge, like one of those bridges that, like, you know, rope bridge or whatever. A long wooden bridge. Just imagine one just extending out from where you're standing. And then just clouds on both sides of it. Like I was up in the sky, and the clouds had this beautiful whitish pink kind of color, like sakura, like the cherry blossom trees. And I was surrounded in this whole area that was just there's like the smell and everything. I was so at peace. It felt so expansive. You know, it felt like everything I could breathe. Every bit of the essence of the scent I could breathe in. You know, every bit of like my eyes that I was able to see was activated, even though my eyes were closed here in the third dimension. I was still able to see. I was still able to be. You know, but definitely meditating. Meditating is a great way for you to get into those spaces with yourself, you know, being able to see, tapping into your imagination, you know, seeing your past, paying a little bit more attention when you are going into your past memories and your experiences, you know, seeing those moments. Try to lock on to some of those memories, try to lock on to some of the colors that you see, lock on to some of the shapes that you saw, like, but do it like now, you know, not now, like, oh, like right now, but like do it in your now, do it in your physical 3D experience when you're here, awake and alert. Think about a memory and think about the exact shapes and colors from that memory, and understand that those colors and those shapes and everything that you're seeing, those faces, those sequences of events, those are all due to your third eye. The way you're even perceiving that memory is through your third eye. You know, and understanding that there's a lot of power there that we kind of just brush away. We kind of don't think about. We're kind of like, oh, okay, that's just like some, you know, little thought. But there's actual activity that's going on there. There's an actual access that you have to a realm that doesn't exist right in front of you. You know, and understanding that, having a really grounded understanding of that. In a lot of ways, because when you are able to exercise it and you are able to strengthen it, then you are able to see much more clearly those visuals. Like as an animator myself, whenever I work with a client and they give me their idea, it's so easy, especially if the idea is a solid idea. It's so easy for me to go into that space of that idea, go into that space of that world. It's so easy for me. It's like something that I find, like, I don't know, I would probably say I may be a professional at this point compared to anything else. I might be a professional, like, imagineer kind of thing. But those things, your dream state, being able to pick up on signs, being able to get in tune with the synchronicities of everything. Once your ego is kind of out of the way, and once your heart's connected to everything, and once you are speaking your truth and you're not using your voice to kind of as something that's kind of breaking up everything, because your words can actually destroy the balance or create imbalance within you. You know, if your words are out of alignment with what's actually going on within you, especially if you balanced everything up until this point. Your throat chakra can trick you up if you're not speaking your truth. So getting into that space where you are aligned with everything, those synchronicities and being able to see those signs, the universe will pick up on the fact that you are listening to it, tapped into that divine feminine, and it'll give you more signs. It'll kind of encourage you more so to play along with it, you know, as opposed to just kind of walking through life like, oh, okay, one step at a time, like, you know, that's all there is to it until I croak. But what else? I was gonna say one other thing about the third eye, and I was gonna wrap this up. Let's see. Talked about psychedelics. Talked about, I used to balance it. Meditation, right? So here's a quick little thing that you can try. Now I'm gonna tell you already, this is a very advanced thing to try to achieve, because it took me a minute to even get to a point where I could do it. I'm telling you, it's pretty advanced. So I might be jumping straight ahead for some people, but some people are already in that space where they can kind of be able to practice this thing. So try this out. If you're in a dream, it's advanced because it does take a little bit of lucid dreaming. And for a lot of people, lucid dreaming is not much of a thing. Sometimes it's like a rare occurrence. Some people only lucid dream a few times in their life, which I understand. But if you are able to kind of like slowly become more lucid when you're dreaming, and slowly become a little bit more of aware that you're manifesting real time, and a lot of what you're experiencing is just your emotions and everything playing out like real time. Try to meditate in your dream. That's what I'll say. Try to meditate in your dream. Try to, like, in your dream, literally while you're in your dream, no matter what's going on around you, try to be like, you know what, I'm in a dream right now. Let me meditate. I promise you. I promise you, if you can get to a space where you can become so aware in your dream that you're meditating in your dream, I'm telling you, you're gonna reach a very powerful place. Just even getting to the point where you can do that. Even getting to the point where you can consciously be like, oh, I'm in a dream, because a lot of times we'll be in a dream and 80-90% of the time you won't even realize you're in a dream until you wake up. So if you're able to get to a point where you can realize you're in a dream and be like, oh, okay, I'm back. All right, let me meditate. And for me, I'm not gonna lie, it took me like a month and a half of consciously trying to, and I had to go to bed with the intention of realizing that I was gonna be in a dream if I did find myself in a dream. And then on top of that, trying to even meditate despite all the things that are going on around you in the dream. So it took me a hot minute to do that. But when I did get to a spot where I meditated in my dream and I sat there and I meditated, it was like my dream like folded in on itself in a way. Like my whole dream turned into a whole new type of experience as far as like lucid dream, but also kind of going into a portal in a way. It's actually really cool. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but if you are able to, try to meditate within a dream. It's very difficult. I promise you, it's very difficult. But if you can do it, it'll definitely get you to a very strong state with your third eye. So anyways, that'll conclude it for this video. I don't want to scare anybody off with the length of the video, but if you got to watch in the segments, I hope you have, and I hope you enjoy this. So if you like this kind of stuff, please like, subscribe, share it with your peeps, or watch it again. It's all good. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see y'all around. Love you. Peace.